Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So we came in today, a little bit of a head scratcher right after Turkey. Futures weren't down like they were Friday night, so we just said let's put it in perspective. Indices kind of had an inside day while a lot of stocks were on the move. A lot of stocks from my morning note. If you follow me on Twitter, you guys are not getting the full story. I try and do as much as I can on the public Twitter, but I do have a private Twitter for Redler All Access, and I write a note. It takes me 2.5 hours every single morning that goes over a lot of strategies and individual names, and then there's a VTF that watches me execute on them. So if you want all those ideas and those executions, you go to, I would say, go to T3 Live. I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling you that some people are like, where's your buy? Where's your sell? You know what? I do as much as I can for Twitter, but I don't work for the world. I work for the firm and everyone who is in my community, and I try and add value outside it as well. But with that being said, let's just take it right to the S&P. The S&P at this point still above the 2-year range, consolidating. It's consolidated the past few days. The 8-day is now higher. We're still stretched, so it's still hard to really sink your teeth in up here. That's why we're trying to take trades and not have too much risk on. At this point, 3-day range, and it's somewhat intact. We're flagging again. We'll see what happens after IBM and after Netflix. I'll get into that in a second. But all in all, still a clean break above or above the 8-day. Nice bull flag. We'll see whether or not that can continue. There was some strength in tech today. We'll see how that figures itself out after IBM. If they take it, I think IBM was treated much better than Netflix. Netflix is getting crushed. But anyway, we'll get into that too. Here's your prior high. Here's your 8-day moving average. It broke out to a high, still below the all-time high here. So people think there's some room, and there might be. Okay, the IBBs I think took a day off, which maybe if tech and if tech wants to take a break tomorrow, depending on what goes on, or high beta, maybe this we'll get that move in the bios while the money rotates, and that's what the money's been trying to do, rotate. I still think this looks pretty solid and might play some catch up to the upside. So this morning in my note I talked about let's look at Facebook. Google's not doing virtual reality headset. It's been quiet. Maybe we get a trade. I came and flatted, and then within the first 5-10 minutes, everyone on the VTF saw me long it, and I did tweet it in my Redler All Access too. And anyway, with that being said, we'll see how it fares tomorrow with Netflix being down, but nice day one, held the 8-day, decent move right there. We'll hopefully maybe we go red to green tomorrow, but looking much better above the moving averages. Here was your last big breakout, and then I guess it had an inside day before going again, and we'll see what happens here tomorrow. But nice action there. What did I see in the morning? I saw a nice little wide range bar. Besides just thinking about it, and that was right here. You didn't have to be long overnight. You could have right here had your entry. That could have been your second entry, and then it trended all day. One thing I have been in that people have seen, and I did put on Twitter way back when, was Twitter. The day of the LinkedIn, takeover, I said now is the time to get into Twitter, that it could be breaking above this little spot, and it could trend all the way to the 200-day, that who wants to be short this at an 11 billion valuation. Meanwhile, it's worked its way up. Today had a nice little breakout above this spot. Trump's using it. Every company's using it. With all the craziness in the world, a lot of people looking at it for news. So in my humble opinion, I don't think it needs to get taken over to get to here. Look where this thing has come from. It's come a heck of a long way. And, recently, it's definitely disappointed us in the past, and now it's been a decent swing trade. I think out of, from here, I might have been out of it 2 days. So it's been, a good trend there above the 8-day, and came in long, added above the pivot. Now I'm still long overnight, and we'll see what happens there tomorrow. Apple, has been acting better. Last time I had it on the, I think the last time I posted the chart was when it broke above this spot, which was 94.90. It's been above the 8-day since. It's a broken name, but they're even coming after the broken names, and the momentum trend has been stronger. Okay, and this little day woke it up, and I bought it this morning. I'm still in some. We'll see what happens. It's some bears already calling on a double top. I guess we'll see. Stock's been broken, but there is some optimism around the iPhone 7. It's got to get through the next quarter's earnings, but overall, decent for a catch-up, but nothing to write home about. Amazon, we talked about holding the 21-day, maybe a red dog reversal today, and wasn't a blockbuster. It took a little time, but that's what made my morning also. It took a little, it wasn't so powerful, but if you executed correctly on it, there was a lot of money. If you targeted buying right here into the prior breakout and into the 21-day, wasn't much pain, about $1.50. And then it went all the way up, came down, it's got a doji, and we'll see, what happens here tomorrow. Maybe some money will flow here if it leaves Netflix, or maybe some people will be scared that if Amazon misses a little bit or doesn't have the growth that it's supposed to have, it can get beat up. So we'll see what happens here tomorrow. All we know is yesterday's low and small. Had a nice amount here and had a nice add there. A little bit of a doji, maybe we get another inside day. Netflix, last I looked, was down 14 points. They can't be a growth company and say there's not any growth with the PE that it's sporting, so that's why it got hit. A lot of downgrades on this in the past week. Maybe they knew, and for the first time they've been right in a long time. And here you go. This is support 1. This is right around 84, and then here is next. So we'll see what happens. If 84 doesn't hold, that's your next pivot, and stock's been battered and bruised, and it's been broken anyway. It's not like it's leading the market. You have a high, a lower high. They bounced it into a key inflection point, and this is why you don't take stock into earnings. I don't care if you were thinking long, thinking short, because it could have been up 15 points and you could have got your butt squeezed off, but you could have been, now it's down $14, $15. So if you took calls, your risk was premium paid versus saying, hey, I think this time they're going to beat, not like last quarter, it's going to continue, they got to buy something, and boom, now it's lower and your month could be ruined if you just blindly flip the coin into earnings. That is a major rule of mine. Do not take stock into earnings. Risk is premium paid. Do options if you have a thesis or trade it after. There was a little bit of time to get short or even get out. It went up like $4 or $5, before they've released their number, but that's the wild west of the overall market. Talked about the banks and what they had to hold in my note, and Bank of America actually gave you a nice trade today. So a lot of guys said, it's a value bank now. Okay, if that's what you think, but either way, it was negative in the morning. They couldn't bring it down, and it had a nice little rally. Okay, this is where it held above both moving averages. There's your 200-day. That's maybe where it can go. JPMorgan, what'd you do today? Okay, still not a heck of a lot, but maybe after a little bit of time, this could actually hang here and get over that, and that would be helpful for the overall markets. IBM, I'm not sure what it's doing, but at face value, it looked decent, but it's also come a long way. Here is support 1, actually support 2. Here's support 1, the 8-day. And if there's going to be any momentum in IBM, I guess it's got to get above and stay above this 161.40. But I would look to see, what's going on in Europe and the next quarter versus just the straight up quick take. If they've had declining revenue for 16, 17 quarters, maybe this time, it shows a little bit better or a little bit more sticky. This would be resistance. I'm not sure what it's doing, but we shall see. So all in all, markets came in pretty quiet today, pretty resilient in the face of what happened around the world all weekend long. We were up a few handles. You didn't have to have much risk overnight to find some decent pivot trades. I've listed all those pivots. Monday's note is my biggest note. My morning call long form, I think, was 24 minutes. The express that everyone gets is only about 5 or 6. So if you're lost and you're just trying to pick a top and you're looking for idea generation, my Redler All Access product really is something I put together every day. It takes me 2.5 hours every morning. It's as real time as it could be. It's my game plan for the day, and I do think it's probably one of the biggest values out there in the market. So look for it or tweet me, Scott. You have my Twitter if you're watching this, and I'll send it over to sales, and you could figure it out. I think it's like $2.99 for the entire year, not a month. So divide that by days, and that's a lot of maybe $1 a day, not even a cup of coffee. But anyway, no more selling. I'm just so many people are angry out there. So many people are fighting the market. So many people don't have a long-term plan, and I think you gotta try and embrace the market in a way that's comfortable for you. And if all of a sudden you're looking at the market every day, like, how did this happen? Why did that happen? I can't believe I've been out of the market a decade. I can't believe this person said this is going to happen. Why didn't we fall apart after Brexit? Because market dynamics work in different ways versus what you read about. So happy Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll figure out what's going on tomorrow, after the Netflix hit and how IBM reacts, and we'll also see Goldman too. Bye-bye.